The MLB has gone on and laid the hammer down on these Houston Astros for their 2017-2018 postseason, regular season, camera sign stealing, signal stealing, however you want to word it. Cheating at the end of the day is the word I'm looking for here. They ended up losing 2 first-round picks, 2 seconds, their GM for a year, their manager for a year, both of which ended up getting fired anyway at the end of the day. And my thoughts on it are this. I mean, I know, biased Reds fan, full disclaimer here, biased Reds fan, but how can you, this is my complete problem with this, because it continues to be it's still current, it's still active. The guy is still alive, and that's Pete Rose. You talk about a guy that gambled on baseball, never bet on his team to lose, all right? So you talk about the integrity of the game. I understand the gambling, I understand this, but it's not like he went out there, bet on his team to lose, and then made his team lose. There was betting on winning, and it was betting on other teams, but there was never a bet on him betting on his team to lose, and he is still banned from baseball how many years later? And you talk about the integrity of a game, you're going to ban these guys for 1 year, for we can play he said she said all day and night. That was the reason they won a championship. That was the reason this team was successful. Now, don't get me wrong, this team is loaded top to bottom. Do I think they needed to cheat to win? No. The Astros are a very good team, but that was a blemish. At the end of the day, it's an integrity thing, something baseball wants to protect, and you can't prove that sign stealing did not help them win games. And if it didn't help them, why'd they do it? You know, like that's the MO at the end of the day. You can say, okay, well, they didn't need this, they didn't need that, they didn't need for pitching, well, they didn't need for pitching clearly, but they didn't need it for the hitting perspective. If that was the case, why'd they do it? Why cheat if you're doing that good without it? That's the question here. And you go back and we talk about it. Why should these guys be back in baseball, period? Why a 1-year suspension for people that clearly went out of their way, knowingly cheat? Like, this wasn't a little, he said, there was a freaking camera in the outfield. And that's the reason I bring up the Pete Rose thing, because if you're going to play the, compare and contrast the punishment things and whatnot, if you're going to ban him forever, there's no reason these guys should ever be back. I get it. It was a punishment. 2 first-round picks, 2 seconds. But other teams outside of the Astros are looking at this as, this is the price we paid to win a championship. Like, we can do this. And yeah, we'll lose this and this and this, but we won a title. That's the problem with the whole integrity of the game thing. And the fact, just throwing it out there, the whole fact of cheating in general, like, it's such a big deal in every single game, the signs, the signal stealing, and I'm not a fan of it. I know a lot of people talk about, why didn't players get punished? Players shouldn't get punished. It was a coach and a GM thing. And at the end of the day, they're in charge of the team. You're not going to tell your coach no or yes. You're just going to go along with what they're doing. Nobody's going to try to create a fuss about it, because, the second you do create a fuss about it, your team gets in trouble. You ruin, your reputation. You ruin your chances of winning. And it all goes back to the guys in charge here being, I wouldn't say the owner didn't know anything about it. It surprises me there. I guess, there is that separation and that disconnect there to an extent, but man, that's a big deal. At the end of the day, though, it really is a big punishment. I mean, I ain't looking at the manager. I'm not looking at the GM suspensions. I'm looking at the 2 first-round picks, the 2 second-round picks. Those are big losses for any team. I'm glad they took that seriously as far as baseball is concerned. I mean, what else can you do? You're not going to completely ruin a franchise for the next 5 years because they cheated. They should, there should be something done about it, and they put their foot down. So I do, to an extent, agree. I agree, the 2 first, the 2 seconds. I don't understand why either the manager or the general manager has any deserved right to come back to baseball.